Have you ever caught yourself worrying about the day you might have to move into a nursing home? It's a thought that quietly sneaks into many of our minds, stirring up feelings we don't always want to face. I've been there too, wondering if losing that sense of control was just part of getting older. It feels like a final chapter being written before you're truly ready to turn the page. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be that way. I remember an elderly neighbor of mine who joked about escaping the nursing home fate, laughing through her fear and finding ways to keep living on her terms. That kind of light-hearted spirit is exactly what so many seniors are embracing today. There's a better path, one that lets you keep your freedom, your dignity, and the quality care you deserve, all without packing up and leaving the life you've built. It's easier than you might think, and it's built around choices that honor who you are and what truly matters. Many are discovering unexpected benefits, renewed independence, meaningful connections, and peace of mind that come from these alternatives. So, what if you could explore those options for yourself or someone you love? What would it mean to live with more control and joy? You deserve to live this stage of your life on your terms, with hope and strength. Let's take a closer look at how that's possible. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. Now, let's begin. 1. Staying in your own home with in-home care. There's something deeply comforting about waking up in your bed, feeling the familiar grooves in your old hardwood floor under your feet, and hearing the gentle hum of the refrigerator in your kitchen, the very same one that kept your grandkids' popsicles frozen every summer. For many seniors, the thought of leaving all that behind for a room in a nursing facility feels not just unthinkable, but a little heartbreaking. I know what it's like to fear losing control, to wonder if aging means having to trade independence for safety, joy for routine, and freedom for someone else's schedule. But staying in your own home, surrounded by your memories, your photos, your plants, and your stories, isn't just wishful thinking. With the right support, it's not only possible, but it's become one of the most empowering choices older adults are making today. In-home care is changing what it means to age in America, offering seniors a way to keep living in the place they love, on their terms, while still getting the help they need. Let me tell you about my friend Eleanor. At 78, she's lived in the same cozy bungalow for more than 40 years. She knows every creak in the porch steps and which cupboard holds the cookie jar for her Sunday coffee with the neighbors. But recently, Eleanor started having trouble with her knees, and some mornings she found herself forgetting if she'd taken her medications. It was a tough realization, one that brought a wave of anxiety and sadness. The idea of leaving her home made her chest tight and her heart heavy. Yet, with gentle encouragement from her daughter, she agreed to try in-home care. At first, Eleanor was reluctant. She was worried about having a stranger in her home, about feeling like a burden. But soon, she discovered that in-home care wasn't about giving up her independence. It was about enhancing it. Her caregiver, a kind woman named Jackie, started coming by 5 mornings a week, not to take over, but to help out. Jackie would make breakfast, tidy up the kitchen, and help Eleanor with the little things that had become a struggle: sorting medications, carrying laundry, and picking up groceries. Most days, they'd share a pot of coffee and talk about the birds that gathered outside the kitchen window. Some mornings, they'd work on crossword puzzles together, laughing over silly clues and remembering answers from years gone by. What surprised Eleanor most was how quickly her world started to feel a little bigger, not smaller. The simple presence of someone reliable, someone who cared, took the weight off her shoulders. She still watered her plants, still sat in her favorite chair, and still read her morning paper. She just did it with a little more ease and a lot more peace of mind. She wasn't losing herself. She was getting herself back. There's a quiet dignity in being able to stay in the place you've built a life. Studies have shown that seniors who age in place, who remain in their own homes, often maintain better cognitive function and experience fewer episodes of depression than those who move into facilities. There's something about familiar walls, favorite mugs, and the same street you've waved to neighbors on for decades that helps anchor the heart and mind. It's not just routine. It's a sense of belonging that no institution can replicate. In-home care is incredibly flexible. Maybe you just need a hand once a week to help with housework or shopping. Maybe you need daily help with personal care, meal preparation, or medication management. You can scale the support up or down as your needs change. And best of all, it's personal, centered around your preferences, your comfort, and your routine. There are so many little ways in-home care can transform daily life. Imagine not having to stress over slippery floors because someone's already laid down non-slip mats and checked that your grab bars are secure. Imagine knowing you'll never miss a medication because your caregiver gently reminds you and keeps your prescriptions organized. Or picture having someone who remembers your favorite breakfast, who asks about your grandkids, who sits with you through the quiet afternoons when the house feels a little too empty. Beyond the practical help, there's the gift of companionship. Loneliness is a silent shadow that creeps up on many seniors living alone. A good caregiver doesn't just check off tasks. They bring warmth, conversation, and a reminder that you're still very much a part of the world outside your front door. For Eleanor, Jackie became more than a helper. She became a friend, someone who brought laughter and light back into her mornings. Choosing in-home care is not about refusing to accept change, but about embracing it in a way that honors your independence. You decide what help you want and when. You keep your keys, your routine, your favorite quilt on your bed, and your stories on your walls. For families, in-home care offers peace of mind, too. It means your loved ones can be supported and safe, without having to give up what matters most to them. It's normal to feel nervous at first, worried about the cost, about inviting someone into your personal space, about whether it will feel right. But there are many resources to help, from local agencies to government programs, and the flexibility of care plans makes it possible to find the right fit for almost any need or budget. Many families are surprised to discover that in-home care, combined with community resources, can be more affordable than full-time facility care. Most importantly, aging at home with the right support lets you hold on to your sense of self. It's about being the author of your own story, even as you turn the page into a new chapter. You can keep the routines and rituals that make each day meaningful. Feeding your cat, tending the garden, chatting with neighbors on the porch swing. You don't have to trade your history, your comfort, or your joy for the sake of safety. With in-home care, you can have both. If you've ever worried that growing older meant giving up your independence, take heart. There are ways to get the help you need and still wake up each morning in the home that knows you best. Like Eleanor, you might just find that accepting a little help can open the door to a lot more life. 2. Living with family in a supportive arrangement. There's a certain comfort in knowing that, no matter how many birthdays you've celebrated or how the world has changed outside your front door, family remains a constant thread in your story. For many seniors, the idea of living with family conjures up both warmth and worry. Memories of holiday dinners and laughter, but also fears of becoming a burden or losing the independence you've spent a lifetime building. It's a delicate dance, isn't it? Wanting to be close to your loved ones, but not wanting to give up your privacy or sense of purpose. Let me tell you about Harold, a gentle soul who found himself standing at a crossroads after the loss of his beloved wife. The house that once rang with conversation suddenly echoed with silence. His daughter, ever thoughtful, invited him to move into the space above their garage, a small, sunny apartment with its entrance, kitchenette, and the peace Harold treasured. It wasn't a step backward, it was a new chapter, written together. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. At first, Harold hesitated. Like so many, he didn't want to intrude or feel as though he was giving up control. But as the weeks went by, he discovered the beautiful balance a supportive family arrangement can offer. Harold was never just the old man upstairs. He had his schedule, morning walks in the neighborhood, afternoons tending his potted tomatoes, and evenings watching baseball. He joined the family for dinner, sometimes sharing stories from his youth that made everyone laugh or pause to reflect. He cheered at his grandson's games, offered advice when it was asked, and most importantly, found himself woven back into the daily rhythm of family life, not as a dependent, but as a vital member. Living with family, when done right, isn't about surrendering your independence. It's about a partnership, a two-way relationship where every generation gives and receives. The little ones gain wisdom from your years of experience, while you find new meaning in sharing their discoveries, their energy, and their hopefulness. Even grown children often admit that having a parent nearby deepens their sense of purpose, grounding them in tradition and care. Of course, it's not always easy. There are moments when boundaries blur, when privacy feels precious, or when differences in routine can cause friction. But the key lies in clear communication and mutual respect. Successful arrangements begin with honest conversations about expectations, space, and support. Everyone's needs matter. Your right to solitude, your desire to contribute, your family's routines, and their hopes and challenges. Some families agree to set meal times together. Others allow for more flexibility. Some create separate entrances or living spaces, ensuring privacy. The most important thing is that no one feels like a guest or an obligation. I've seen this approach transform the lives of many older adults. Instead of sitting alone, watching the world from behind a window, you're drawn into the heart of things. Helping with homework, telling bedtime stories, even just sitting in companionable silence with someone who loves you. It's not about dependence. It's about connection. The loneliness that so often shadows aging is replaced by shared meals, spontaneous conversations, and the gentle reassurance that you belong. There's even a practical side. Sharing a home can ease financial pressures for everyone, splitting costs for utilities, groceries, and even taxes. In some cases, families are eligible for government support or tax credits when caring for an elderly parent at home. But beyond the numbers, there's something deeper at work, a renewed sense of being needed, of having a role that matters, even as the seasons of life shift. Psychologically, the benefits are profound. Seniors living with supportive family arrangements report less depression, greater life satisfaction, and a stronger sense of self-worth. You're not just a bystander. You're a living archive of stories, values, and resilience. Your presence shapes the family narrative, and your wisdom becomes part of their foundation. Harold's story, like so many others, is a testament to what's possible when a family chooses to lean in together. He once feared being a burden, but instead, he became the steady anchor his family didn't know they needed. He had his independence, his space, his routines, but also the gift of connection. The laughter at the dinner table, the quiet moments reading side by side, the hugs from grandchildren on lazy Sunday mornings. These are the moments that transform aging from something to be endured into something to be cherished. If you've ever wondered whether living with family could work, remember that it's not about losing yourself. It's about finding new ways to belong, to contribute, and to love. With open hearts, honest talk, and respect for each person's needs, sharing a home can become not just a solution, but a blessing, a way to rediscover purpose and joy together. 3. Aging in place with smart home modifications. There's a quiet, powerful dignity in being able to remain in your own home as the years go by. A place where every photo frame, chipped coffee mug, and soft creak in the floorboards tells the story of your life. But even the coziest of homes can start to feel daunting as our bodies change. The stairs seem steeper. Showers grow more slippery. A light bulb that once took a quick twist now feels out of reach. These challenges are real, and there's no shame in feeling frustrated or even a little vulnerable. For so many, the biggest fear is that these small obstacles will force them out of the home they love, simply because it doesn't fit their needs anymore. But what if your home could adapt right alongside you? That's the gift of aging in place with smart home modifications. A modern approach that turns potential hazards into opportunities for comfort, safety, and renewed independence. I remember talking with Linda, a 79-year-old widow who had always prided herself on taking care of her place. One winter, she slipped in the bathroom and fractured her wrist. The fear lingered even after she healed, shadowing every step she took. Her daughter worried, gently insisting on a few changes. At first, Linda resisted, embarrassed by the grab bars and non-slip mats. She felt like her home was becoming a hospital, like the world was reminding her she was getting old. But slowly, something shifted. The grab bars in the shower gave Linda back her confidence. She could wash her hair without fear of falling. Motion sensor lights meant she could walk to the bathroom at night without fumbling in the dark. Her daughter installed a video doorbell, letting her see who was at the door from her phone, and a voice-activated assistant that could call for help if she needed it. A stair lift replaced the struggle of climbing up and down, letting Linda enjoy her sunny upstairs sewing room once more. Her daughter even set up an automated pill dispenser, taking away the anxiety of missed doses. What surprised Linda wasn't just the practical side, but how these changes gave her back a sense of power over her own life. She was still at home, surrounded by the things and memories that mattered. Instead of feeling helpless, she felt respected and supported. Her family could visit, share meals, and leave again, knowing she was safe and confident in her own space. Aging in place with smart modifications is about more than convenience. It's about honoring the desire to stay rooted in familiar surroundings, without sacrificing safety or independence. Some improvements are simple: swapping out doorknobs for levers, lowering shelves, adding brighter lighting, or installing smoke alarms with flashing lights for those who struggle with hearing. Others are more high-tech, like medical alert systems, voice assistants, or security cameras. For many, these tools are a bridge between full independence and the need for daily help, filling the gap so you can live life on your terms. There's also a psychological benefit that can't be overstated. When you wake up every day in a home that still feels like yours, not a medical facility or an anonymous room, you stay grounded in your own identity. The familiar smells of your kitchen, the sunlight falling across your favorite chair, the sound of neighborhood kids playing outside. These are not just comforts, but anchors, keeping you connected to your own life story. What's more, the process of modifying your home can itself be empowering. It gives you a chance to look at your routines and preferences, to say, I matter. My needs are worth planning for. You get to decide how and where you want to move, eat, rest, and entertain. That autonomy, so often threatened by age or disability, becomes yours again. Families who help with these changes are offering more than physical safety. They're showing trust in your ability to keep being yourself. I've seen grandchildren proudly demonstrate how voice assistants can play old jazz records or read weather reports, turning what might seem like old people gadgets into fun, family-friendly features. Suddenly, aging in place doesn't feel like giving in to frailty, but embracing a new era of comfort, technology, and choice. If the need for support grows, these modifications can be the foundation for bringing in outside help, making it easier for caregivers or nurses to assist without disrupting your routine. It's all about options, creating an environment that's flexible, future-proof, and welcoming. Linda's story is a testament to how life-changing these adjustments can be. She no longer dreads the idea of growing older in her home. Instead, she feels prepared, proud, and deeply grateful that her house continues to be a true sanctuary. She invites friends over without worry, hosts her sewing club, and enjoys quiet afternoons by the window, knowing she's safe and secure. If you've ever found yourself afraid that one fall, one forgotten stove burner, or one missed dose would mean the end of your independence, take heart. The solutions are often simpler and more affordable than you'd expect. Local agencies, community grants, and even Medicare or insurance can sometimes help cover the costs. You don't have to accept the myth that old age means giving up your home. With a few thoughtful changes, you can create a space that grows and adapts with you. So every morning you wake up in the place you love, feeling not just safe, but truly at home. 4. Multi-generational living with clear boundaries. There's something beautifully timeless about a home filled with more than one generation. Laughter from children running down the hallway, the scent of a favorite family recipe simmering on the stove, and stories drifting from the lips of a grandparent as the sun goes down. Multi-generational living has deep roots in American history, and for many seniors, the idea of moving in with family brings back memories of childhood visits to grandparents' homes, big Sunday dinners, and front porch conversations that stretched late into the evening. Yet, as lovely as these images are, real life can be a bit more complicated, especially when everyone is used to their ways, their own rhythms, and their own space. After her husband passed away, Patricia, age 83, was faced with a choice. She could remain in her empty house, but the silence was heavy and the days grew long. Her daughter and son-in-law invited her to move in with them, offering a private suite just for her. The idea was both comforting and daunting. Comforting to know she'd be close to family, daunting because she worried about intruding on their lives or losing her independence. The key, as Patricia and her family discovered, was setting clear boundaries from the very beginning. Before she moved in, they sat around the kitchen table and talked about everything. The routines that mattered, the spaces that needed to stay private, the roles everyone would play. They agreed on which areas would be shared and which would be just hers. Her suite had its own bathroom and sitting area, so Patricia could retreat whenever she wished. They even created a small garden space outside her window, where she could read or tend to her favorite flowers in peace. With this structure, something wonderful happened. Patricia never felt like a guest or an obligation. Instead, she became an integral part of the family fabric. She joined in for family meals when she wanted to, and had the freedom to skip when she needed quiet. She wasn't expected to babysit or handle chores, but she often volunteered to share her legendary chicken pot pie or offer her wisdom on the kids' homework. Her grandchildren adored her bedtime stories, her daughter valued their long, gentle talks, and her son-in-law appreciated having someone to swap gardening tips with. She gave as much as she received, and her presence was felt, but never forced. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. What makes multi-generational living work is the respect for boundaries, clear expectations that are discussed openly and revisited as life changes. This means everyone, young and old, has both privacy and connection, support and independence. It isn't always perfect. There are times when tempers flare or misunderstandings arise, as in any household. But because Patricia and her family laid the groundwork with honest communication, they were able to resolve conflicts quickly and with compassion. The emotional benefits run deep. Loneliness, which haunts so many older adults, faded from Patricia's days. She found new purpose and energy in the bustle of family life. At the same time, she knew she had the right to solitude and the ability to live on her terms. There were new memories to be made, birthdays to celebrate, holidays to prepare for, and quiet evenings spent knitting while the rest of the family watched TV nearby. She felt needed, but not used, supported, but not smothered. Financially, multi-generational living can be a smart move, too. It often eases the burden on everyone, making it possible to share expenses and resources, and sometimes even qualify for tax benefits or government support. More importantly, it means no one has to navigate life's surprises alone. If someone is sick or needs help, there's a built-in support network right at home. This kind of arrangement isn't about returning to the old ways, nor is it about giving up your own life for someone else's. It's a modern partnership, one where each generation brings something unique to the table. Energy, wisdom, stability, or simply love. Boundaries make it possible for everyone to thrive together, honoring both tradition and individuality. For Patricia, moving in with family didn't mean losing herself. It gave her a chance to rediscover old joys and embrace new ones, all while knowing that her needs mattered, too. If you've ever thought about multi-generational living but worried about how it might work, remember that it all comes down to open hearts and open conversations. Boundaries aren't barriers. They're the structure that lets love, respect, and joy flow freely through the home. And isn't that what family is all about? A place where each person, regardless of age, can be themselves, loved, respected, and truly at home. 5. Independent living communities with on-demand support. There comes a point in life when the idea of staying completely alone at home no longer feels right. But the thought of moving into a traditional nursing facility doesn't feel right either. It's a crossroads that countless seniors encounter, a quiet struggle between craving connection and guarding independence. For some, the answer arrives in the form of independent living communities with on-demand support. A new kind of community that offers freedom, dignity, and peace of mind that help is there if you ever need it, but never forced upon you. Take Richard, for example. At 78, after his wife passed away and his children moved to other states, his once vibrant home began to feel more like a box of memories than a place of living. The silence grew heavy, and even small chores began to feel overwhelming. The prospect of moving into a nursing home felt too drastic. He wasn't ready to give up his autonomy or have his days dictated by someone else's schedule. But living alone had started to chip away at his sense of joy. The spark was fading. A friend suggested looking into an independent living community nearby, and although Richard was hesitant, he agreed to a tour. What he discovered surprised him. Instead of sterile hallways and rigid routines, he found a neighborhood of seniors just like himself. People who valued privacy and independence but also cherished having companionship within arm's reach. The apartments were cozy, each with a small kitchen, a living room, and personal touches that made them feel like home. There were gardens to tend, walking paths, and even a woodworking shop where he could spend long afternoons tinkering with old tools. What made the difference, though, was the on-demand support. Richard didn't need daily help, but he liked knowing that if he ever felt unwell or needed a hand with errands, support staff were available with a quick phone call. Meals could be delivered if he wanted, but he could also cook for himself. Medical appointments, transportation, and even housekeeping were options, not requirements. He could participate in movie nights, book clubs, or art classes, or simply enjoy a cup of coffee alone on his balcony. The choice was always his. Independent living communities are designed with flexibility in mind. Some residents are very active, organizing hiking groups or community service projects. Others prefer quiet hobbies and peaceful walks. No one is pressured to join in, but the opportunities are there, making it easy to dip in and out of social life as you wish. The biggest benefit? Loneliness fades. There's always someone nearby for a conversation, a game of cards, or a shared meal, if you want it. You're surrounded by people in the same season of life, each with their own stories and wisdom, each seeking connection without sacrificing personal space. Families find comfort in knowing their loved one isn't isolated or struggling with daily chores. And for seniors, there's a profound sense of security that comes from knowing you can age in place, adapt your level of support as needed, and keep your dignity intact. Many communities are built with beautiful common areas, landscaped gardens, fitness rooms, and sometimes even pools or libraries. Some focus on wellness and lifelong learning, while others emphasize creativity and community engagement. Richard found a new rhythm to his days. He joined the film club and rediscovered his love for classic movies. He started taking early morning walks with a neighbor, and for the first time in years, he felt excited about the week ahead. His independence wasn't taken from him, it was celebrated. He could ask for help when he needed it and pull back when he wanted privacy. The staff knew his name, respected his preferences, and offered support with a gentle touch rather than an overbearing presence. What's most powerful about independent living communities with on-demand support is the way they empower seniors to choose the life that fits them best every single day. No one size fits all. No set schedule or expectations. You decide how to fill your time, who to spend it with, and how much help you want. The sense of control, dignity, and community transforms the experience of aging from something to endure into something to embrace. If you're at that crossroads, wondering whether to go it alone or settle for a traditional facility, know that you have more options than you might realize. These communities are springing up all across the country, offering a new vision of aging, one filled with friendship, freedom, and the simple pleasure of living life your way. For Richard, it wasn't just about avoiding loneliness or daily chores. It was about finding a place where he could belong, thrive, and keep writing his own story, with support waiting in the wings whenever he needed it. And that, for so many seniors, makes all the difference. 6. Intergenerational living communities. There's a quiet revolution happening across America, one you may not see on the evening news, but you can feel it in the laughter that spills across shared courtyards, the smell of fresh bread from a neighbor's kitchen, and the easy, everyday kindnesses passed between people of all ages. This is the spirit of intergenerational living communities, where seniors don't live isolated from the world, but woven right into the colorful fabric of life, side by side with children, young adults, and families. Margaret, now 76, never imagined she'd be swapping gardening tips with high school students or teaching poetry to a group of 20-somethings who lived just down the hall. After decades in the same quiet neighborhood, the idea of moving into just another senior facility left her feeling cold. She didn't want silence or endless bingo nights. She wanted connection, purpose, and a sense of belonging. When her daughter told her about a new intergenerational community opening in Oregon, Margaret was skeptical, but curiosity and a sense of adventure won out. From her first week in the new community, Margaret noticed how different it was. There were young teachers, single parents, college students, and other seniors living together, sharing the rhythms of daily life. Instead of separate towers for the old and the young, the neighborhood was designed to encourage bumping into each other, literally and figuratively. Whether in the garden, the community kitchen, or the walking paths winding between homes. People shared meals, exchanged favors, watched out for one another's children, and helped their neighbors bring in groceries. It didn't matter if you had gray hair or a skateboard, everyone belonged. For Margaret, the weekly poetry circle she led became a highlight, drawing in teens who wanted to learn about writing and elders who shared stories from decades past. In return, the younger residents helped her with everything from technology questions to changing light bulbs or introducing her to new music she never would have discovered on her own. Margaret's days were filled with laughter, learning, and genuine companionship. She hadn't felt this alive in years. But the benefits of intergenerational living go deeper than simple neighborliness. Studies show that seniors who live in these communities experience much lower rates of loneliness and slower cognitive decline. There's something about daily interactions with people of all ages, whether it's a conversation with a curious child, a stroll with a new mom, or learning to bake bread with a college student, that keeps the heart and mind engaged. It's not about charity or dependence. It's about mutual respect and the recognition that everyone has something to give, no matter their age. There's a unique kind of energy in a place where life is always happening. For seniors, there's a sense of being needed and valued, whether you're passing along gardening tips, helping with homework, or simply being a friendly presence in someone's day. For younger folks, the wisdom, patience, and perspective of older neighbors is an anchor, a reminder of what matters most beyond the glow of screens and social media. Margaret's story is echoed by many others who have chosen intergenerational living. There are community gardens, shared libraries, book clubs, and potluck dinners that bring everyone together. Instead of sterile hallways and locked doors, there's laughter, music, and the small daily joys of true belonging. Challenges still arise, differences in routine, culture, or expectation, but these are met with conversation, empathy, and sometimes a shared loaf of banana bread. Perhaps the most important lesson from these communities is that connection in old age isn't just a luxury. It's a kind of medicine, a source of healing and hope that no prescription can match. For those who have ever felt invisible or left behind, intergenerational living offers the comfort of knowing you are still needed, still heard, and still a vital part of the world around you. If you've ever wondered what it would feel like to be part of something bigger, to be surrounded by new faces and fresh energy without giving up your independence, consider this path. Margaret would tell you that it's not about moving away from the world, but moving right back into it. And in doing so, you may just discover a whole new sense of purpose, and the beautiful truth that the best years of your life can be filled with connection, meaning, and joy. 7. Co-housing and senior villages, implied in the final thoughts. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. There's a quiet dream that lives in the hearts of many older adults, a dream of living in a place that feels both independent and connected, where the daily rhythms are shaped by friendship and mutual respect, not by institutional rules or a sense of being warehoused. For some, this dream comes true in the form of co-housing or senior villages, communities designed by and for people who want to age together on their terms. Imagine waking up in a small cottage nestled among others like it, stepping outside to find a friendly neighbor tending her flowers, and knowing that you're surrounded by people who not only know your name but genuinely care how you're doing. In a senior village or co-housing community, life is not organized around staff schedules or rigid routines, but around shared meals, neighborly check-ins, and the joy of living side by side. For many, this path starts with a simple question: what if I could choose my neighbors? Co-housing communities are often planned by groups of friends or like-minded people who come together to design a place that feels like home. Each resident has a private living space, sometimes a cottage, sometimes a condo or apartment, but there are also shared spaces. Gardens, kitchens, workshops, libraries, and cozy common rooms where people gather for potlucks, movie nights, or game afternoons. The spirit is one of collaboration, where everyone has a say in how things are run and everyone pitches in when help is needed. Senior villages, on the other hand, might look like ordinary neighborhoods but with a secret strength, a network of volunteers, paid staff, or service providers who help residents stay independent. Need a ride to the doctor? Someone's there to drive. Need groceries picked up or a hand with yard work? There's a list of helpers who are just a phone call away. These villages allow people to stay in their own homes while also benefiting from the practical and social support of a caring community. Let me share the story of Joan and her circle of friends, who'd grown tired of the idea that getting older meant shrinking your world or losing your voice. Together, they found a piece of land, worked with an architect, and built a small cluster of homes with wide porches, shared gardens, and a big communal kitchen. Every week, they cooked meals together, celebrated birthdays, and checked in on one another, not out of obligation, but out of genuine friendship and mutual respect. There was no sense of hierarchy, no labels of patient and caregiver, just neighbors and friends. When someone was sick, casseroles arrived at their doorstep. When someone was lonely, a knock on the door and an invitation for tea. What makes co-housing and senior villages so special is the balance they strike. You keep your independence, your routines, your treasured privacy, but you're never truly alone. If you want to garden with others, you can. If you want to enjoy a quiet morning, no one disturbs you. There's an understanding that everyone will give what they can, and receive when they need it, and that life is richer when shared. These communities foster purpose and pride. Residents organize book clubs, yoga classes, or volunteer projects together. They celebrate milestones and weather tough times as a team. The small acts of kindness, sharing a meal, watering a neighbor's tomatoes while she's away, helping with small repairs, build a web of support that's both practical and deeply emotional. Co-housing in senior villages are a testament to the idea that aging doesn't have to mean isolation or giving up the right to choose how you live. In fact, for many, these communities unlock a sense of freedom and connection that might have seemed out of reach in traditional settings. For families, knowing that their loved one is surrounded by friends and support brings peace of mind. For the residents, every day is an opportunity to contribute, to learn, and to belong. If you've ever longed for a life that balances privacy with genuine connection, that honors your independence while wrapping you in the warmth of community, co-housing or a senior village might be the answer. Here, you're not just living out your days. You're truly living, sharing the ups and downs with people who care, and building a legacy of friendship, dignity, and joy. Isn't that what we all hope for, no matter our age? Thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope these stories and ideas have sparked something in your heart, a reminder that growing older doesn't mean giving up control, independence, or the joy of living fully. Whether it's staying in your own home with a little help, sharing life with family, or finding a community that feels like home, there are so many ways to age with dignity and grace on your terms. I know it's not always easy. Aging can bring challenges we didn't expect, and moments when the path feels uncertain or lonely. But remember, you are not alone in this journey. The choices you make today can shape the quality of your tomorrow. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to lean on others while still standing strong. It's okay to want more. More comfort, more connection, more meaning. You deserve a life filled with respect, warmth, and purpose. You deserve to wake up each day feeling valued and supported, surrounded by familiar faces or friendly neighbors who care. This isn't about giving up. It's about embracing the freedom to live life your way, with the support you need and the love you deserve. So, what stands out to you the most? What option feels like it could bring peace or happiness to your life or someone you love? I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story matters, and your voice can inspire others to navigate the same journey. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with your friends and family. Together, we can create a community where aging is seen not as an ending, but as a beautiful, meaningful chapter filled with hope, strength, and connection.